can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
I'm Bruce.
And I'm totally unprepared.
Yay!
Matt
Yay!
likes to drop these things on us at the last minute sometimes.
Yep. All right. So, Silo's done. We all enjoyed it. It opens up tons of ideas for stories. You said there was you the only one to read some of these fan stories that he approved,
I did,
right?
Well, there were 2 of them on Audible, so I went ahead and got those and listened
All right.
to
Is
them.
that in the audio book that has the?
No.
Okay.
No, they were
Because the other one,
standalone
the
short
story
stories.
that I started listening to after the last short story was, I think in either Colorado or Nevada or something like that.
That group of short
And
stories.
then, I mean, it's a
yeah.
good story about this guy going crazy and killing his comrades. And so I was like, okay, it's kind of cool.
That group of short stories is just his short stories.
Oh, those
It's
are
all
his.
of them are his.
Okay.
Yeah.
No fan fiction in that one.
I listened to all of them leading up to that, and I haven't listened to ones past.
See, I skipped all the ones leading up to it because in preparation for the
There's some good
story
ones.
podcast, so I wanted to make sure I had them out of the way,
Okay.
and I didn't want to listen to anything else because I didn't want it to muddle my thought as to what was actually his short stories with Silo. But if I'd known that they
I
were
listened to
completely
I was listening
unrelated,
to all of them. I was enjoying it as a book, but once I finished, in the woods, I was so shocked. I was like, stop! I'm done listening to anything. I've got to deal with this.
All right. So tell us.
you got to go through the grieving period.
Please tell us what were these 2 ones you?
Okay, there was one of them called the Silo Archipelago. It's kind of based off the idea, the Google Archipelago, and this story really could have been set in any sci-fi world.
Okay.
It's a lot about it was a very good story, but it really wasn't hard in the world of Silo. That just only could exist in the world of Silo.
Okay.
It was a good story about suppression of writing and speech, and and had this group of people that were that found either there was people that when they came into the Silo at the beginning took the memories of what they had written of the written word and were trying to preserve by rewriting off of memory, and then there was bits of in IT had a collection of books as well that they were able to get their hands on from time to time, and so there was a subversive group in this Silo that were collecting as much writing material, old and new, and it led to an uprising at the end.
Oh, okay.
But it
Did
could
it
have
say
been
which
any-
Silo it was?
No, it didn't give it.
Okay.
It could have been any, and it really could have been a story in any world.
Okay.
It just, they just had it in the world of Silo.
Okay.
The other one was called Runner, and it starts off with this guy.
That sounds gay.
It starts off with this guy who
Ran a lot of steps, right?
Well, the thing is, it starts off they're diving in the flood at the bottom of this. The thing is, they had done some digging in the Silo, and it hit into a underground stream.
Oh, okay.
And so the Silo is very slowly flooding. They're thinking, the problem is it's very slow. It's like, in 30 or 40 years, this might be a problem kind of issue with how slow it's flooding. But it's a problem, and that's a very uniquely Silo problem. You've got a generational issue being caused. But he's a diver going down. He's able to hold his breath long periods of time and do work and, figure stuff out. But then,
Because IT wouldn't give them a suit.
Well, IT definitely was not wanting to be helpful partially because he's gay, and it's not because his gay relationship doesn't further generations. It's kind of looked down upon in the Silo, and so eventually it goes
There's
through
one less person in the lottery.
Yeah.
and it goes through all
If he's
the
gay, he's never
issues.
going to get a wife, so... I mean...
Well, there's got to be another gay person there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the big thing is at the end, when he's finally put out to clean, which I thought was another
he's
really
gay.
really interesting Silo moment is, his lover was sent out to clean a couple years before.
Oh, jeez.
And
he's pissed.
So when he first comes out, his lover was near the door, near the exit, has always been there, and so he's expecting to see his lover when he comes out, but he just sees a rock there. And he sees the world, it's all beautiful. He's like, oh, maybe my love is out in the distance. I can go find him. He reaches down to touch the rock, and his hands go through the rock. And he touches something hard, he pulls it up, and there's a quick shift where he's sees a skeleton quick, and then it goes back to rock. So he's like, holy crap, this is all fake. And he just takes off running.
Oh, so he didn't clean.
He didn't clean. He just took off running.
Oh, that's
because
cool.
it's messed up. And then of course, he comes to part where he's like, oh, I'm back at my same silo again. Goes through the whole same process. But at this point, his suit's falling apart. One hand is exposed, being torn into the air. It's starting to break down. He pulls his mask off. Well, he realizes what's going on. He's like, I need to, leave a message. He takes his last big good breath of air. He says, this is my last I have. He's been a diver, so he can hold his breath for a long time. His one hand's bleeding, gloved hand. He starts dipping it into his bloody hand and writing a message, and he dies in front of the other silo's cameras, writing "Help us" on his chest. And that's where it leaves you. And it's like that's very Silo.
So this probably
that
would
may
have
have been
happened.
Silo 40
Well,
that he died in front of.
Maybe, but remember, Silo 1 said that there'd never been someone who hadn't cleaned before.
So this
until 18. So this probably happened afterwards.
This could have been
in the chronology.
Yeah.
Happened
But
afterwards.
it still was. It dealt with Silo specific issues. You had the
I don't
flood
know
from
that
the bottom,
Silo 1
and you had
said that.
There's never been someone who hasn't
I
cleaned.
knew 18 Silo said that there had never been one.
True.
But I don't know that Silo 1...
Well, because it said, if somebody makes it over the hill, prepare for war, which means they've dealt
maybe
with
so.
it before.
Or if someone doesn't
That's right,
clean.
that's right. Maybe so. Okay. So...
And so,
That's
I mean, it was two things that were very Silo, unique to this universe, and I thought those were very interesting ideas. First, the flood from the bottom, which was this pending dread, and then the run over and help me, and not even tell you what this other Silo is thinking, because they're all probably. I would love that story of what they're thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that guy, and why does it say help us?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where after he asked fans to do extra Silo stories, Hugh Howley writes his 3 stories later on and outdoes them all. Says, right. You people with your limited imaginations, you thought it was just a Silo.
Silo world.
Silo world. But anyway, so what ideas would you have? I had one. I'll go ahead and share mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had one where they're tinkering, they're having to fix something, there's a unique problem, and they're trying to get better airflow through the air ducts and everything, and the guy accidentally triggers the poison gas.
Oh, dang.
He doesn't know what it is.
Short
He went, this
story.
is probably something that would, it'd be a short story, but there's an issue with one of the mains, whatever. He's like, well, maybe we get some better airflow going on here. And he sees that. He's like, what's this? And he toys with it and triggers the whole alarm system and basically starts killing everyone. Silo 1 is alerted. Now, I know you can't take over name, you can't use big name from the Silo series.
So it's got to be a shift that Donald's not
It's a shift that Donald or the Thurman aren't a part of.
And they're going to be a part of it.
And they're going, what happened? Who gave the order? They're thinking, did someone give the order to get this? What? Why are they? Stop it! Stop the! But they can't. They don't know what happened, and because that guy triggered it. And so there's a guy having to write Thurman and report that somehow, they don't know how, they destroy one of the silos. Which you always said, you always wondered what those X's, what happened to those other X's. And I started thinking, I was like, wouldn't it be funny in a way
one of those
if
was
one of them they
selfish-
triggered themselves? They didn't even know what they were doing. They triggered itself, and then maybe if I can put Thurman in it, Thurman wakes up and actually puts the guy in deep freeze for a failure. They don't know what happened. They just know that he thinks that someone from Silo 1 hit the detonation button, but they don't know who. But in reality, no one hit it. They just accidentally destroyed themselves. I thought that would be an interesting story. Again, I got this idea the moment you said, those other X's. What happened? We want to know what happened. It's like, well, that's a short story.
And, really, after re-listening to the podcast, we had mentioned
what podcast?
we had mentioned how
There is no podcast.
Julie's scars had started to heal, and we said we would cycle back to that. We didn't talk about
We
how
never did.
the big story
right.
was that Thurman's daughter had switched the gas in Silo 17.
Right.
Is that what happened?
Yes, they were getting the good nanobites being pumped
into
That's
them.
why Solo,
Yeah.
was actually pretty healthy and
That's why all the kids checked
You-
out healthy.
Yeah, and
surprisingly for being malnourished and everything.
So Solo, whenever the silo fell,
Yeah.
he also fell. broke ribs, maybe a clavicle or something like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be hampered. Like nothing
no.
healed wrong. You know, he didn't put his arm in a sling. At least we don't think he did. In fact, not long after that happened, he
He's
was
back
shooting
to-
guys
yeah.
that were trying to come into the.
He's back to normal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you know, that was something we
We'd
didn't-
forgotten to mention
we
that,
said
that's
we'd
true.
cycle back on what we didn't.
well, I don't know that it ever cycled back on that.
Not
It never
too much,
mentioned
other than talking
anything about
Julie
her
having
her
some-
scars.
because apparently there were some still left over because Julie picked up enough to where her scars started to heal.
Yeah.
It was just kind of left hanging.
A few nanites are here and there,
Yeah,
still floating in the air. But then
Or at
that's
least
why the
in that silo. In
yeah,
silo
in that
17.
silo, excuse me, and that's why the kids are super healthy, and the dad's kind of surprised that after
Yeah, he
being
said they'd
malnourished
never
and
been
thing
sick.
that wow, they've all been this is really good, you know.
Which also explains why everybody was able to leave, start to break down, and want to go back because they were actually could be fine if they would have stayed in the
Yeah.
silo.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because they went up to move all the bodies out of the way
Right.
before they exited, and her dad was like, "This isn't right.
Yeah, they're
This is
well
this is-
preserved.
This cannot be 40 years worth of decomp here.
yeah,
These bodies are
died last week maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like he said, this is not 40 years. This is weird. Something's wrong.
So that's
But then they never answer that question. So
world building. If
Yeah,
they can in the
more
short story
questions.
one day.
More questions to be
another
answered.
story because we don't. I mean, in the short stories, we
Maybe
don't-
Julie survived that gunshot. We don't know yet.
no, I think she stopped.
I
blinking.
think she's dead. I
She
think
stopped
she's
blinking
dead.
and was looking at the stars. Or
Yeah, I
something
think
like
she's
that.
dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Which is
we
fine.
We knew
It's fine.
that gunshots can kill people in the silo one.
right. But that was in that silo.
But wait, those can't. Now this is a question. No, you have to keep getting nanite treatment, right, to live on forever, like Thurman.
Thurman did get regular before the silos were.
Well,
Right.
it's not the nanites that keep you living forever. It just
But he
Helps
it
prolong.
fresh and prolonged it. So he kept refreshing them, and they would be frozen.
and you had to have the 9S to survive the freezing.
I'm
process.
thinking.
Yeah.
I'm going back to silo stories. You remember that family had nanites? They must have lived for a long time in the cabins. They had nanites, healing
probably
nanites.
did.
Yes, they did,
They probably lived for 100
and she did too.
several. Yeah.
So did they?
The daughter
Here's the
could
story.
possibly be.
Oh!
Oh, he would have to go. He'd
Why do you
have to
think
go
about that
back and
last week?
retcon the short story to have them not wake up 500 years later because, again, that didn't make sense with them meeting up with Juliet, which was
No.
only 200
I'm talking
something.
about the people in the cabin,
The first story.
the
Right,
first family
right.
too. Yeah, but maybe okay.
I
But
thought you were saying like
maybe they come across her
Yeah.
later on and they eat her body and get her nanites.
eat her butt. Okay, well you write
Cannibals.
that. You write that. Short
You wanted the
story.
cannibal story.
I didn't want the cannibal
You
story. I
said
just
that you
it was-
mentioned the cannibal
Colorado
story.
people are kind
the
of
Colorado
cannibals.
the Colorado people.
I'm just telling you.
mentioned the
I'm
Donna
giving you a
story.
loophole here to make
I
all
don't
this
need a
fit.
loophole.
Okay. So
But that would be cool. I mean, like if she lived for 150, 200 years.
the idea that you gave last week, I think, was interesting about a silo.
What did I do?
With the half-naked Amazon women, all women. It's really weird. I know that you know that have
the self-fertilizing
Yeah.
lesbian silo.
Yes. that has luscious bosoms and is written by
Yes.
Robert Jordan.
Right. And Matt is the only male.
He's the only male, and every night is a
Everyone
horror,
gets
it's a horror
ki-
story. For
Everyone
Matt.
gets a kiss and a cuddle.
a kiss and a cuddle
every night.
every night. Oh boy.
So whenever we had discussed about coming up with our own ideas for
Yeah.
a short story, that was before I had read
Dust.
before I had read his short stories.
Oh, okay.
Well, if it was Dust or whatever, it was still before I read the
Right.
short stories.
That's fine. Yeah.
So my first thought at that point was a short story that was within one of the silos
Of course.
that, whether it was one that fell or one that's still going on. But now after reading the short stories, I kind of would like to have a short story of someone else that was supposed to be in Atlanta, or someone else that accidentally
Well, I mean,
got
yeah.
got the nanite treatment that was never meant to go or
Now
anything.
you-
Somebody
yeah.
that's just happens to be around. They weren't on a flight. They weren't on the freeway when shit hit the fan, and everyone around him starts dying, and he's fine.
Yeah.
What
No,
does
I
he
mean,
do?
Yeah.
You know, the I am the original I am legend.
Yeah.
You know, he's in Arizona with a
Yeah. Minus the vampires,
right.
obviously.
Yeah. No.
But and with the dog.
Yes. Well, I mean, all other
Dogs
animals
is-
are fine.
It's interesting because now that you've read Silo stories, it's true. You want to think about things outside the
Yeah.
silos now because life is not just contained in that little 50
Yeah, I kind
square
of want to
grid.
know what happened in the rest of the world.
Well,
What
here's-
happened in Europe and in the Middle
Well, here's
East
the
and
deal. What
Africa.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
happened to the president?
Yeah.
Evidently, he was not part of the silo.
We
I'm
don't,
assuming
we don't
that
think so.
Thurman locked him
Even though
away.
they
He
had
said, "Yeah,
Secret
go-
Service
go hide your
guys,
buck."
because you know the
Yeah.
guy that helped Charlotte was Secret Service, but
What happened to
the president
Canada?
wasn't there.
And does anyone care?
No,
Oh, okay. But here's the
Didn't even cross my
but
mind.
there could be Eskimos up in the tundra that
yeah. What if they weren't even affected?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's true. What if there's a station out in Antarctica?
Because why wipe them out?
Yeah.
Why wipe
Could you
out?
even reach there? Would you even bother?
Would the nanites even survive in those sub-zero temperatures?
That's true. No, because it'd be like deep freeze.
Would.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple. They're out in Antarctica. A tribe of Amazon half naked.
They're
Right.
huddled.
Would be half
They're
naked in
huddled up in
Antarctica.
their igloo for warmth.
Written by Robert Jordan. Yeah. Okay. There you go. So yeah, I think man, see now that we open up the whole world. See, this is the thing. We probably should have done this before we read silo stories, because then we all would have been thinking inside the silo, and
Yeah.
now we're thinking outside the silo too, which is beautiful because I think there's stories on both sides. But yeah, you eventually want to get away from the silos because we've seen it all. Not seen it all, but we know the world, and so it's easy to write within that world. Now, to his credit, Hugh Howley is still letting fans write in that world, fan stories, and anything he likes, he kind of chooses to make part of the official silo canon. How's that work? Does anyone? I don't know.
I don't know exactly how it works. I do know he reads the fan fiction and he'll give his approval to some.
Okay. I mean,
Not that I would even want to submit anything that I write.
yeah, I'll be afraid
to
because
anybody.
we're so small minded now that he's written some
I know.
stuff. It's like I feel like I'm trespassing. Like, here's my little fan fiction of where two people fall in love. And just so there's so much bad fan fiction out there, but honestly, you could find a few diamonds in the rough for Star Wars fan fiction. Good fan fiction is few and far between, but I have found some stories I've enjoyed. I thought they were really good. Got to speak to most of the authors on them, and they just found a good idea for a good story. It was different and it worked. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So there are people out there with talent, with an idea.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people are still submitting stories today, but they should, and they will if this thing gets picked up for a TV series or something like that.
It'd make a great.
There was a lot of talk about that
I don't know
5 years ago. I
why
remember
what is going on though? Because
Yeah.
it would still make a great series. It's low budget too because it takes place in one friggin' silo,
know.
which everything
Yeah.
looks the same. Every
Yeah.
level looks the same.
Yeah, you could switch to a different silo, and it's still the same set.
It's the same set. It's like Cube the movie.
And
I know.
and it would be okay that it's the same set.
Yes.
They're like-
yeah, you would just have to switch in the
Yeah.
the inside. The decorations would have to change.
Like in Cube, all they did was change the lighting for
yes,
each room.
that's all they did. Well, here, all they'd really have to change is like this is IT now. Okay, now it's the farming community, but it's the same set. You just change out the inside
Yeah.
of it. It'd
Change
be
the
the
inside and
cheapest
change the
show.
characters.
For the most part, it'd be the cheapest show to do.
Yeah.
But
you,
yet-
you would need maybe what,
the cafeteria,
what, 6
the,
sets?
the sheriff's cell,
Yeah.
the sheriff's cell. You need a few, the mechanical place. But the thing is, though, a lot of it would be easy. It'd be low. It feels to me it'd be low budget,
Yeah.
and it'd be a fantastic
You
story.
don't need special effects.
Nope.
What is Hollywood thinking? This is too good. Well, you know what? At the same time, they may screw it up. We can do better than the book.
If Hollywood gets their hands on it, 9 times out of 10, they're going to screw it up.
I know.
Whether they screw up the story or they screw up a character, you know.
They would screw up Julie. Julie is awesome on the page, but she would probably be too woke
Probably.
in the show.
You think that they would make her too woke?
That'd
Yeah.
be sad. Maybe it's
They don't
better.
have to do
Maybe it's
anything
better.
to her.
It
Like-
depends on how much creative control Hugh Halley has. Like George R. R. Martin, doesn't he have any say? Doesn't he have a few things
He
to say?
wrote some of the episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wrote.
So I
he
think
wrote
Hugh Halley would.
an
probably do a
episode
little
for every
bit.
season. I think through season 5. After that, he said, "I don't have time.
Right, because I've got to work on
I
I'm
need
too
my
busy writing
balloon,
that book to have
my
my
balloon
cover yet.
collection.
Yeah,
And the guy's not obviously writing. Yeah, but no. Anyway, I found it interesting. The ideas and the things you portray, but I don't know why. I don't know why it hasn't been made to TV or even shopped around. I know it was rumored back when it first hit and everyone was going nuts over it, but still, it's a hidden
it definitely
treasure,
would
man.
need to be a TV series.
Yeah, obviously. I don't think you could do this in 3 movies even. I wouldn't want to see it in movies. It'd
wouldn't
be
want-
too short.
yeah.
I'd want to have time to give
the
brief.
best cinematics right now are TV series.
The best way to tell a story
the best
is
stories,
through
the
TV,
best
a series.
character developments and everything.
Not a long-running series, just a short, you know.
Yeah, you got
Series.
the ending planned out from the first season.
Shoot, you
Yeah.
can basically do like 10 episodes, or you don't need that many. I don't
Yeah.
know how many episodes.
Well,
but, you know,
each book, each book has at least
there's a few stopping points.
5 or 6 stopping points. You
Yeah.
could have.
That's why I said about 10 episodes or something, because I don't know how long each
You
one
can even
is.
do
You can-
6.
You can
Yeah, probably.
Thing is,
Yeah.
thing is,
6 hour and 15-minute episodes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
per
I mean,
book.
there's many seasons out there. They're just 8 episodes a season. You could do, you know, a
So
6 to 8.
You're saying the
episode
BBC
season.
should take this up.
Yeah,
six at 1 hour episodes.
however long.
Not
you
even
need.
that. If
For
you're
3
talking about
seasons.
Sherlock,
Like Sherlock's
you're talking about like three episodes.
Oh,
They're each
yeah.
an hour and a half.
I
but-
know, but that's what they would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's all out there, but it's interesting world. Now, a few Halley's other things. We'll move on here. You said that Beacon 23.
That's your brother. I'm actually going to go ahead and
I
pick
don't
it up.
like it.
You don't like it?
I tried. Well, it's
Your
first
brother-
person. I don't like
Your brother
it.
said he loved it.
Oh, it's
I
written
know.
in first person?
Yes,
I
I don't
do
like
not
Dear Diary.
I
Don't
don't
like Dear
either.
Diary. So I couldn't. I picked it up, put it back down.
Yep. Third person.
What is there
It's gotta
other
be
stuff
third
you've
person.
read from
Well,
Halley?
iZombie, which is first person, but it's from the perspective of a person
Oh, that's right.
locked inside the mind of a zombie.
So it's first person.
It's the zombie apocalypse world, and the zombie everything's going on. But the thing is, the people that become zombies, their brain still acts normal.
They have no
and
control
they've
of
lost
their body.
control of their body. And so
That's-
they're experiencing everything the zombie does, and it's them reacting to eating flesh, killing their family,
yeah.
just walking and crapping themselves from all
That
the
is
flesh.
dark.
It is very dark. It's very twisted. It's
Man.
kind of messed up.
So
Yeah.
read it to your kids as a bedtime
But
story.
it is first person. In that
Wasn't there a TV series where
There was
there was
there's-
something similar?
There's an iZombie TV series, but it's completely different.
Okay.
So-
is that the one where the baby turns into a zombie?
No.
There's,
It's based
what
off
was
of a
that
DC
one?
comic book series, and the
There
girl.
was one
Well, I
where
mean,
like
there's that.
there was
there's
a
a-
There's
baby
that Dawn of the
zombie.
Dead remake,
Yeah.
which is great.
I can't remember, but
Okay.
But, yeah, the iZombie TV show it had this girl who was basically a superhero zombie, and she could eat the dead person's brain and tell the cops, "Hey, he died because of this," and they would go investigate it.
But has any
yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
has any of his short stories had the success that Silo has?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay,
mean,
I don't know. I'm asking.
I know
I'm
he's a
asking.
successful writer. His stuff sells.
No. I mean, his stuff sells, but has anything sold bigger than Silo or as big?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I remember Wool hit like a bomb.
Was that his
when it came
first
out.
big
Yeah.
thing to
Yeah.
come out?
Yeah.
Was that his, okay?
And really, a couple of his short stories in the book, which, if you go back and listen to ones before, a couple of them are inspired by his overnight success with Wool, and he's just like trying
okay.
to, it's
Cash in while it gets
No,
hot.
it's like his shock and his just feeling weird at and so he writes this crazy sci-fi story about somebody getting something they don't deserve or whatever.
Oh, okay.
What's that from?
It's the short stories, and
Oh,
there's more short stories in the book we have.
Okay. Okay. So, all right, yeah. I'm not. I'll be honest. I haven't been interested to read any of his other stuff because first person is a lot of it, now, and I don't get why people still like writing in first person. To me, that's every fanfic I've read a lot. People love writing in first person. I enjoyed the classics in first person, like Frankenstein, Dracula.
They
but I
probably read a
can't
lot
do it
of
these days.
erotica or something like that. That's
Maybe
all.
so, but it's like what goes on, the thoughts
thing
of
is,
so and so
I can't
during
throw
this
out
thing.
the whole thing as a whole because I do enjoy some. I'm rereading right now the Monster Hunter International series, which is done in first person, but it is very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the biggest sellers lately have been in first person. Like all the Hunger Game books are written in first person. What was another one? I think Twilight may be written in first person.
Ooh,
Not
okay,
that I
well,
would
we'll end it
know.
on that. I
Expeditionary
didn't know you read
Force.
Twilight. Okay, is that
Expeditionary Force
the
is in
next
first person,
series?
and that's
Steven's
really
going to
good
do
as
on his own Twilight.
Sparkly
himself.
vampires are cool.
Sparkly vampires are cool. I thought about someone doing some Star Wars fiction where Anzadi are sparkling in the sun. It's a TV series in the Star Wars universe. That's not vampires. That'd be fun. All right. That's it. Anything else?
I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, so the Silo world is really beautiful. It's something I really enjoy. I can't really recommend any of his other stories because I have not read them. Would you recommend iZombie?
I recommend it to the type of person that likes dark things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's
That
have
be
you-
considered grim dark.
It's grim dark. I mean, it's not very long. It's on Audible, and it's like 4 or 5 hours. It's a novelette, or however you call it. But
And again, you've said you've never read Beacon 23.
I have not. But I do
Okay.
plan on because
So-
your brother said he liked it better than
Right,
Silo.
I know. He said he liked it better than Silo, but I think he just has to. Silo got real popular, and so he
And
decides
you
he
have
has
a
to like
problem
something
with
that
Right,
popular.
right.
with first person that, and I
do.
think is verges on the demented and
No, you don't like it either.
I don't.
Steven just said he didn't like it.
But the
Honestly,
thing
I would
is-
probably have an easier time if I read it, actually reading it. But
Depends on the
listening to first person.
I would say this.
really irks me.
I almost want to say, try the Monster Hunter because the guy that reads it is so good.
Who is it?
I can't think of his name at the moment. But
Jim Daly.
He,
It's the
the
only
thing is,
person I
he
know.
does remind me of Jim
It's
Dale.
just Jim Dale, not
Oh,
Daly.
okay, I don't even know him then.
He
There you
can
go.
shift between character voices and stuff so well.
Okay.
Okay, so have you read anything else from Hugh Howley?
I have not read any of his other big
Okay.
novels, but I will be reading Beacon 23 very soon. We can talk about that.
I don't want to talk
in
about
your
that.
episode.
I'm kidding. You can talk about it. you can talk about it in your own room. I'm not going to read it.
Send them an audio file.
I'm not going to
Upload
read it. I'm not going to read it. But getting the Silo stories, you can get the trade paperbacks, the collection I got for like $27 on Amazon. That's with free shipping.
That's all. That's all of them.
Yeah, that's all three.
Oh,
of
that's
them.
not
That's all
bad.
four of them in print.
And the
what's
short
the
stories,
what's
right?
the the Silo stories is with that. What's the short stories run you? I mean the Kindle, is it the same price?
I don't know. We do the audio books.
Oh, right,
which
right.
is
It's probably the same
we do
price
our
these
Audible-
days. These days, audio is the same,
Yeah.
usually the same price as the paperbacks. Or,
Now, the thing
well,
is,
it depends.
it depends.
I mean,
but the
if
3-in-1
you're-
pack, you're talking about 3-in-1
and
Well,
pack.
if you're
pay
going-
ship for sales, you can get them for
Oh, that's true.
$4.
That's
if
true.
If not, then if you only use credits, they're about $9.50.
depends on how much you spent on that credit.
Yeah.
If you're buying extra credits, then they're what, about
$9.35.
9 something a piece. If it's a credit that comes with your monthly cost, then it's $14.99.
No, because I got the
You wouldn't know. I do the month. I do the monthly. I get 1 credit a month, and it's like
my
$14.99
credits
a month.
cost $9.50.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got the I got the top program.
he's got. Yeah,
Oh.
I have the 1 credit a month, which is $14.99 a month.
The blue collar,
Yeah,
One.
I got the blue collar one.
the white collars to this
Yeah.
guy, this snob
Yeah.
here. Okay. Anything else you want to rub in
I
our
mean,
face?
if Dogecoin goes up any higher, then I'll be doing the white collar thing because your homeboy here got it at 0.44 cents. Yes, that's
Oh,
less
my
than
goodness.
half a cent a piece.
Oh boy! All right, we'll end it on that then. All right, folks. So overall, of course, check out Silo series, but then, of course, come up with your own ideas. Hey, if you've read the Silo series and you have an idea, pitch it. Pitch in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Because who knows? They some people who've listened to this may have read it already, and have their own
I would
ideas.
hope so,
and I'd
because
love
we
to,
spoiled the shit out
well,
of
we
that
already,
story.
we already said we were going to spoil. But anyway, folks, we'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.